Do you still think a planet is just a round rock orbiting a star, and that somewhere out there, one of them might be like Earth? Because the universe is hiding worlds that go way beyond human intuition. Some places don't get rain made of water, they get rain made of rock. The heat is so extreme that stone doesn't just melt, it boils into vapor. That mineral vapor is swept upward, cools, condenses, and falls back down like a shower of grit inside a furnace. Somewhere else, a gas giant seems to wear a ring system so vast that if you dropped it into our solar system, it could nearly span the distance from Earth to the Sun. There are orphan planets, the air drifting through interstellar space. No sun, no sunrise, no real meaning of a year, no seasons. And strangest of all, the James Webb Space Telescope has observed roaming Jupiter twins, two Jupiter-mass objects orbiting each other with no star above them to anchor the system. Out in the empty dark, it can feel like nature is bending the rules of how planets are supposed to form. Stay until the end because today we're going to follow the trail. How were these bizarre worlds discovered? How could they be born? And most importantly, is Earth actually normal? When people hear weird planets, they imagine wild colors and beautiful images. But in astronomy, what truly gives scientists chills is often not a picture. It's a tiny change in light, a slight dimming, a shifted spectral line, a cycle that repeats with ruthless precision. Sometimes that's all it takes to reveal a world you cannot see. And now we're going to descend through 3 layers of strange. First, hell planets, where physics runs like an industrial grinder. Second, Earth 2.0 candidates that look perfect on paper but may be a conceptual trap. And finally, objects so disruptive that our star and planet formation models hesitate. Let's begin with something familiar. Rain, except this isn't water, it's rock. Imagine CoRoT 7b. It sits so close to its star that starlight stops feeling like light and starts feeling like a cosmic kiln. On the day side, temperatures climb high enough to melt rock and then boil it into vapor. That vapor forms an atmosphere made of minerals. Winds carry it upward and push it toward cooler regions near the boundary between day and night. There it condenses into tiny solid particles like clouds, except these clouds are made of stone. Then it falls, not as droplets, but as a gritty downpour onto a glowing surface where the ground could be a sea of lava. On a world like that, the weather no longer resembles Earth. It becomes geology forced to run on fast forward. Rock doesn't sit still for millions of years. It melts, vaporizes, condenses, and falls again in a short, brutal loop. And if the planet is tidally locked, always showing one face to its star, the world is essentially split in 2. One half is a permanent forge, lava oceans, scorching mineral vapor, and relentless radiation. The other half is endless night, deep cold, frozen matter, and a black sky that never changes. The line between them isn't a romantic sunset, it's more like a storm belt. Hot gas surges into deep cold. Rock clouds form nonstop and drop their grit like a factory that never shuts down. Leaving that furnace behind, we meet a different kind of anomaly. Beauty built from violence. That is J1407b, often nicknamed a super Saturn. But next to it, Saturn looks gentle. Saturn has a few main rings. J1407b is inferred to have many layers of rings, so enormous that if you stood on a hypothetical moon, the sky could become a dome stretching from horizon to horizon. Light would be sliced into bands of brightness and darkness, like a sunset drawn with a ruler. In that ring map, every gap and every darker stripe matters. Because a gigantic ring system is rarely peaceful, it's often evidence of a violent past, a moon torn apart by gravity, massive collisions that grind material down, or a system still under construction, not yet settled. It's beautiful, but its beauty is born from destruction. Then comes a colder anomaly. Rogue planets, orphan worlds. They orbit no star at all. Maybe they were flung out of their home systems when those systems were young and chaotic. Maybe they formed alone inside a cloud of gas and dust. No sunrise, no year, no seasons, only leftover internal heat and darkness that doesn't end. Now here's the trap that sounds reasonable. Earth 2.0 is nearby. Take Proxima b. It sits in the so-called habitable zone. But that phrase only means one narrow thing. With the right atmosphere, liquid water could exist.
It does not guarantee that an atmosphere is there. It does not guarantee a magnetic field. And it definitely does not guarantee survival under the violent flares of a red dwarf star. And if the planet is tidally locked, one side is eternal day, and the other is eternal night. The twilight band between them might be a region of extreme winds. Water could be driven toward the night side and trapped as long-term ice. Even if you pick a calmer star, there's another trap people overlook: gravity. A super-Earth can be only a bit larger than Earth, and yet the living conditions could become completely different. Gravity doesn't scale in a gentle way. A modest change in mass and radius can turn the environment harsh. Living at 2G is not a little tougher. It's like wearing an invisible suit of armor 24/7. Standing still becomes tiring, walking becomes work. Your heart has to pump harder just to do normal life. And a simple slip that would mean a bruise on Earth could become a serious risk. So a planet that looks Earth-like on paper may, in reality, be a biological prison. So if we can't see their surfaces, how do we know these worlds exist at all? This is where CHEOPS comes in, a telescope whose images can look blurry. But that blurriness isn't a flaw, it's the point. In planet hunting, the winner is not the prettiest picture. It's the most precise measurement of starlight. How much does it drop? How long does it last? Does it repeat like a clock? A tiny dip, stable and recurring, becomes the signature of a planet crossing in front of its star. In other words, we find a world by its footprint in light. And here's the part that feels truly unsettling, not because of extreme temperatures, but because it forces doubt. What if we have misunderstood the rules? In the Orion star-forming region, researchers have observed jumbos, pairs of Jupiter-mass objects orbiting each other with no parent star. Picture it, in the interstellar ocean, with no sun to anchor and orbit, two giant bodies still hold each other like a binary system. If it were only one or two pairs, you could call it a chance, or even a fluke. But when they appear in significant numbers, the question shifts from strange to concerning. Are our planet formation models missing a piece? There are two major explanations. One says these are leftovers from chaos, when young systems ejected planets and, by accident, left behind pairs that stayed bound. The other says they could form directly from collapsing gas and dust, but that runs into physical limits, so perhaps another mechanism like magnetic fields helps them cross the barrier. Jumbos are not just something weird. They are a red warning sign. The universe may have more ways to build worlds than we currently understand. So where is the real strangeness? Not only in rock rain, not only in ring systems that dwarf imagination, not only in orphan worlds drifting without a sun, the deepest strangeness is in discoveries that force us to admit our map of knowledge still has huge blank regions. Every world is a question. If rock can evaporate and fall again as rain, how fast can geology run? If a colossal ring system can exist, how violent must its history have been? If rogue planets are out there, how many unseen starless worlds are drifting through the dark? If Proxima b is close and still hard to live on, is Earth 2.0 just a pretty label? And if jumbos are real, what other planet-making mechanisms are the universe hiding? Can a planet form without a star at all? And if it can, could there be an entire ocean of wandering worlds that humanity has never even touched? Now tell me in the comments, which world felt the most unreal to you? And don't forget to subscribe and share so this video can reach more people. Thank you for watching all the way to the end.